So Browse. What first off, let me just tell y'all, Browse got her name. Her name is Alyssa. Okay. But Browse got her name. She was on a phone call and it's already. We were on a phone call and Browse was like laying in bed, but then got up on this group FaceTime call, and all I saw was this perfectly arched eyebrow. And I'm like, I cannot pay attention with Browse over here in the camera. And it kind of just stuck. We've always called her Browse now. So it's Nardone underscore Browse, but her name is Alyssa. So that's just a little backstory on the name Browse. So Browse, tell
Damon.
us tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from, family?
I'm from Jersey, born and raised. I am 100% Italian. I have two brothers, one older and one younger.
So you're the middle.
I am the middle,
Oof.
only girl.
Marsha. That's all I think of middle child.
Yeah, yeah.
And you were born and raised in New Jersey?
Born and raised.
Nice. So being the middle child and being the only girl middle child in an Italian family, that had to be pretty
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
intense.
I mean, my younger brother is, I think there's like a 7 year gap, 8 year
Yeah.
gap. So it was more or less me and my older brother always together. So
How far apart are you and your older brother?
not even a year.
Oh
Basically, yeah,
wow.
basically a year.
So that's
Yeah,
what they call this, like Irish twins, right?
basically.
Yeah.
Basically.
So you grew up New Jersey, mom, dad, two brothers, you in New Jersey. So what was young Browse like? Teenager Browse. We'll start at teenage Browse.
Yeah, Young Brows was kind of just, there's not really much with Younger Brows. I would say my story kind of blossomed, I would say, in high school.
Okay.
Sophomore year, I experimented with broccoli, devil's lettuce,
Yeah.
got myself a lace bag.
Oh
Um,
wow.
I can't even say what was in it. HC. Um,
Heroin?
yeah, A,
Yeah.
acid, rat poisoning was what almost killed me.
Oh wow. So
Um,
there was rat poisoning, heroin.
Coke,
Oh my
acid.
God.
That was all in it. I had a trip. I was walking home from school, ended up buying from a senior. He sold, there was two bags in his pocket. The one bag was supposed to go to one of the dealers that was messing with, they were pinching. Sure, you know
Oh,
what that
okay.
is. So that bag was supposed to go to him, but instead it went to me. And my mom ended up getting a call because at the time, she had a walkie, and she got a call about, a girl tripped out, found on the corner. My mom's calling, and I'm not answering. Sure enough, she pulled up, and I was basically passed out on the corner. And she picked me up. She brought me home. She didn't know what was going on. I wasn't
Yeah.
really responsive. Um, they were giving me milk because at the time you could smell it on your clothes and whatever.
Hmm.
And I went to the hospital. I found out what was in it. Next day, I woke up, everything was normal, and I went to school. Middle of class, couldn't breathe, felt like I was suffocating. I went to the nurse's office. From there, it just different doctor's appointments. They didn't know what was wrong with me. I was petrified. I was scared to leave the house. I was so afraid. They didn't know what was wrong with me.
It's like a PTSD
Yeah,
from receiving that, and you were at such a young age. That had been terrifying.
I was 15.
Wow. 15 years old. So 15 is when anxiety and your mental health started kicking
Uh,
in.
yeah, after going to certain doctors, they realized that my nerves weren't as normal as anyone
Hmm.
else's. My nerves just were kind of shot, as they said,
Yeah.
from this bag. This is
Yeah.
all from the bag. I started going to a psychiatrist. They started prescribing me anxiety medication. That psychiatrist ended up, every visit I would go, I would say, I'm doing good, increase this, increase that. I got to the point where I was like a zombie.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I couldn't function in school. I was homeschooled, like back and
Mhm.
forth throughout. And high school is supposed to be, the
Yeah.
best years of your life. And I couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't be a normal teenager.
Yeah. That had to been, ooh, that had been terrifying. And then to sometimes these doctors, they over medicate. And you went from overstimulated, over feeling everything, feeling out of control to being completely numb. And you were only 15, right?
I was only 15.
Jeez. So now you're going through high school and are dealing with that. Was there any other ways that you coped with your feelings?
Um, I started working very young, so that kind of helped me throughout high school.
Okay.
Getting out of high school was kind of where things started to like downfall. I started gaining weight.
Mm.
I was unhappy. I have my older brother started struggling with addiction.
Oh,
So that became bad. Seeing that at home, the fights, and trying to avoid the younger one from seeing it. And, it was always Alyssa, help me. Alyssa, where is he? Alyssa, this. And it's like, I'm trying to be able to function while having anxiety and seeing what's going on in my home life with it.
yeah.
It was hard. People will always,
Imagine.
and it's crazy that so many people will say you will never understand being an addict unless you're in those shoes. Well, you have no idea how hard it is being somebody living with an addict.
Oh, to love an addict is so difficult.
It's tough.
Man.
Um, Seeing them lifeless is, I could still close my eyes and still see it to this day.
So
It
your
doesn't go away.
is that when your brother started to overdose?
Yeah, he started
Oh,
becoming really bad on H.
oh God.
Yeah.
And
So he was big
your
now.
parents were never addicts. This is something that your brother picked
No.
up somewhere else, or
Yeah, he picked up. It all started with devil's lettuce, and then to pills, and that was too expensive. So then it went to H. It's cheaper.
sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry, there was I was getting rid of something. Um, so was there any other people in your family that struggled with addiction?
Yeah, my old not my older brother, my uncle,
Mhm.
my grandmother did it, and my mom always said, "I never want to be in my mother's shoes," and she ended up dealing with the same exact thing with my brother. I lost my uncle. He was 50 years old.
Oh
He made it
God.
to 50. So yeah, and it was the same cycle: alcohol, age.
So your mom literally was living her worst nightmare per se. She never wanted to live the life that her mom did, and now here she is. So I'm sure that was a lot on you as well.
Well, yeah, because a lot of times where, like one story I could bring up is I was getting ready to go out with a friend of mine who was in recovery himself. We bonded. He related to me, I related to him. So he was coming to pick me up, and my mom was literally asleep on the couch, and she jumped up, like she was like, I gotta go change the laundry. So she went downstairs. She's like, something's wrong with him. Alyssa,
Mhm.
can you come down, help me? Like, I can't pick him up. He's jerking, but I can't pick him up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he's crying, like, he was with his ex at the time, like he's upset. She was like, all right, continues doing laundry. I go upstairs. I'm literally getting ready to leave the house. And she's like, no, there's something wrong. I can't pick him up. Like, this weight, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he had a man bun. We flipped him. He was completely blue in the face.
Oh
Um,
God.
we just drug tested him, not even 4 hours prior to that. So when the EMT showed up, they said, we're going to Narcan him. My mom was like, no, I just drug tested him. It's right here. He's been going to the gym. here's all his vitamins and stuff. And they start ripping the walls down, and they're like, listen, either we Narcan him or we don't. But his pulse is dropping by 20.
Yeah.
It was dropping. And they had to Narcan him 3 times
Oh, God.
to bring him back.
And
And I saw everything.
that's terrifying. And you were still a kid. I mean, granted, you were out of high school, but you're still a kid.
And even like during that, I did a lot of self-harm
Mm.
to where dealing with the pain, but I didn't want people seeing it. So it wasn't like I was making new marks daily. I was constantly reopening the same cut, but I always wore long sleeves. Nobody ever knew about it until the point where I reached bone. And that's where I was like, I need help.
Yeah.
And I checked myself in, um, and my parents being old school, you know, there's no such thing as anxiety, depression. There's no such thing. Like you get over it. I have to go to work every day. This is something you have to deal with. But it's like while I'm dealing with what's going on, which I still to this day never understand it. Your symptoms, your anxiety, all changes over time.
Right.
So it's hard to recognize what anxiety is and what's not. So I'm dealing with that, seeing what's going on at home, seeing the fighting with, you know, my brother on drugs. I needed pain.
Release.
Yeah, I needed a release, and that's what I started to do, and I got help for it. It stopped.
How old were you around this time?
I think I was about not 18, 19.
And how old are you now?
I'll be 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is so you checked yourself in. This was a voluntary.
Yeah, this was completely voluntary. I was away for maybe 4 days. They kind of wanted to wait with the wound, only because it was down to bone. And I got out, changed my life, started working again. I've never, and I can say this, till I met Cheryl, have I been steady working without being on a medical leave because of my anxiety.
Yeah.
So it's been bad. It's been a roller coaster ride, up and down, up and down.
Yeah. And people always think that they pass judgments on anxiety and mental health and depression. And, you know, one of the things I hate the most is, oh, it's not that bad. Just smile. Like, oh, I wish it was that easy. Or, you know, oh, just relax. I hate that one. Just relax. Oh, thank you for telling me to relax. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, right.
Thank God you told me. So now I'm not going to have an anxiety attack. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I feel for you. And then, you know, you're self-harming. So did you continued treatment for the self-harm, the anxiety?
Right. I ended up changing psychiatrists because during that time I realized that I was on such a high dose of medication. And I started decreasing medication because I was gaining so much weight. I would work, I wouldn't eat all day, and then at night when I would take my medication is where I would binge eat. So I kind of started replacing my self-harm with food.
Yeah.
Basically. I want to say I was good for a couple years. I mean, did I have little slip-ups? Yeah, where I felt like self-harming, but it was never to that point where I would pick something up to injure myself. I want to say about 4 years ago, I think it was my last self-harm, which was.
And this is before, this is a very, very big trigger warning for anybody in here. So this was, you were coming off of high doses of medication that made you zombied. And now they're taking you off the medications. So tell us about that day.
So that day, prior to that, I'll say I was starting to feel, I would have like these, it's hard to explain, where I'd be okay, I'd be happy, and then I'd be like slumped. But that day, I just remember I was laughing in the kitchen with my mom, my dad, and my brother's friend, and we were just sitting there laughing like nothing. Next minute I know, um, I woke up in a hospital. My mom walked in. I don't know if can I say the word on here.
Mhm.
I hung myself from my ceiling fan with an extension cord. The extension cord was so tight and triple knotted that my mom had to cut it with a scissor
Oh
to get it
God.
off of me. So I ended up hitting my head. I wasn't alert. So when I did wake up in the hospital, I was in a 2x4 room. Nobody around me. They came in, they told me, we're going to be looking after you. This is what happened. You're here. We're going to look after you. And all I can think about was, I need a cigarette.
Yeah.
And she was like, don't worry, we're going to get you a nicotine patch. We have to wait. But every time I'm sitting there looking at this wall and I'm nervous. I have no idea what's going on. Where's my mom? Where's my dad? And I
What
just see
happened? Right.
a camera, just a camera watching me. Every movement, anything that I've done wrong. Now I overreact. I flipped out, completely flipped out. I was scared. And they were reporting everything to my mom. And my mom was a wreck
Yeah.
in the waiting room because it was just I started flipping out. I ended up hitting a couple of the nurses. I had to be sedated and I was strapped down. I was woke up and I was involuntary. I was sent to a what is it, like a rehab mental hospital,
Mm-hmm.
but it was more or less for like,
Psychiatric.
yeah, but it was more of like inmates like that were in jail or
Mm.
that were troublemakers.
Yeah.
People drinking acid, like they were. It was so scary that they were like, oh, we're gonna give you clonazepam as needed. So I got to the point where that's all I would take and just sleep. I would skip meetings. I
Yeah.
wouldn't attend it. I wasn't eating. When my parents came to visit me, they had to sit like across the room in two chairs and just me and like my therapist in there. They couldn't touch me, nothing.
Oh.
And my mom contacted the higher board of the hospital that I went to when I checked myself in. And, they wouldn't transfer me because if you're getting the same help, why would they do that? But
Mm.
I was scared there. So
I
then
don't blame you.
it was, when I tell you, it was so bad, like I couldn't sleep at night. I had to keep taking medication because the woman next to me was talking to herself. Like she would come near me, start talking. I'm like, yo, I was like,
Yeah.
I can't focus on myself. I can't.
It wasn't peaceful at
No,
all.
at all. So I got transferred, luckily.
Mhm.
And I was attending every meeting. I was speaking up. I got changed from involuntary to voluntary. If I promised within the 24 hours, I didn't try to sign myself out.
Yeah.
So I did all of that. I did a lot of healing. I spoke a lot about my uncle in there. And I ended up getting,
About your uncle with addiction.
yeah.
Did your uncle's addiction affect you a lot?
That was my godfather. He wasn't around when I was younger, but his
Mm.
last 3 months alive, I was his guardian angel,
Mm.
as he said. Like I was there every day. So
Oh wow. So wow, you had the loss of a very, I want to say like a father figure in your life, a strong male presence in your life. So you lost that person. Your brother is an active addiction to the point of ODing. You have anxiety. If you need to take a break, please feel free to take a break.
it's just hard because um, they found him dead 3 days later, and the day that they say that he passed, I was supposed to be there. and I didn't go because of the person I was dating at the time. I ended up going home.
Don't blame yourself that you were a teenager, you know?
Yeah.
You're a teenager, and there was many other decisions that were made before that day that affected that day.
Yeah.
Your one decision didn't make or break the day, you know? So you had the loss. Did you hold on to like blame? Did you blame yourself?
Yeah. For a very long time. Yeah.
God. Did you have anyone that you could talk to about any of this? Because I know you said you were homeschooled.
I didn't really talk to many people about it. I mean, I've talked to my mom about it, but she's always said, like, you can't blame yourself. If anything, it happened for a reason. You weren't meant to see that, you know. So.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss. I know it still hurts.
Yeah, that's something I don't think I'll ever get over. You know.
I'm sure losing someone close and feeling like you could have changed something, that's a huge burden for you to be carrying around, especially with everything else going on in your life. I don't think that you would have, and it's just me. I don't think it would have changed anything. And I hope one day that you allow yourself that peace to not hold on to that burden.
Yeah. So, I mean, after that, I really like fell off the deep end.
Yeah.
That was, that attempt and just gaining weight. And after that, back on track, I was unhappy with myself. I was told by somebody that I was talking to that, well, maybe if you weren't so overweight, the cord would have never snapped. So I started looking into getting weight loss surgery. That was the main reason I got a consultation to have gastric sleeve surgery, was to lose weight because I couldn't do it by myself.
When you say you couldn't do it by yourself, you were looking to get the surgery so you could.
So I was able to lose enough weight to be able to
unalive yourself.
Yeah. That was the main reason why I got the consultation. And I think after I seen my best friend who was my best person in my wedding, who had the gastric sleeve surgery, and she lost so much weight and she was so happy. She learned self-love. And then I started going, seeing a nutritionist. These are all the steps. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on losing the weight. I'm not going to think about, doing all of this just to escape and be gone. I'm going to take it serious. I'm going to change my life around. And that's what I did.
And how much were you at your heaviest?
240.
240. And you're only, what, 5'5"?
5'5" and like 5'6".
5'6" with Tim's on.
Okay. Thank you, Sherelle. So 5'5", 240 pounds. And no matter what you did, I know we talked about on the phone that you would try to lose weight and nothing was working for you.
Well, I was working at the same job that I'm at now. I was very active, moving around, lifting packages, and you would think that I would be active.
Yeah.
Because I would be athletic and be able to lose the weight, and I just was at like a plateau. I could not lose the weight for nothing. Even with a nutritionist and on these strict diets, the meal plans, I probably lost I got down to 231 before my surgery.
Yeah.
And a total span of 6 months.
I always feel like if you're not, I feel like your mental health and depression, your mind, anxiety, I truly 1000%, I think that if you are not happy and healthy here and here, you're not going to be able to lose weight. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I truly believe that. I see, when people start losing weight, they gain back their confidence, they get happy, they work through it. So with you, with your situation, you were at 240 pounds. You still had the anxiety that you're working through. And, like you were saying, you had a mindset still of not wanting to be here.
Yeah, and
And it's still in the back of your mind every
right,
day. So you're fighting that demon every single day.
right. And then I got into a relationship. It was all over social media. I moved to North Carolina.
This is after the surgery, right?
This was before the surgery.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This was this was a month before my surgery. I met her, was down there for probably about 2 weeks, came back, had my surgery, and decided to move everything to North Carolina to be with her, where I was mentally abused, where I thought where I can be happy for myself and have my partner happy where I'm losing this weight and doing things for myself. And I couldn't even be excited to get on a scale.
Wow.
Because if I was losing weight, because when you have gastric sleeve surgery, people don't realize you lose pounds overnight.
Yeah.
You can literally do nothing and lose weight. And I couldn't be happy, but I couldn't tell my parents because she was jealous of my family because she didn't have that. So I wasn't allowed to be excited. I think out of my weight loss journey, I only have very few pictures.
Wow.
Because I wasn't allowed to celebrate me losing the weight.
Why didn't she want you to celebrate losing the weight?
Because she was gaining.
Wow.
Yeah. So I wasn't allowed. I wasn't allowed to post on TikTok of my, my body. Because why are you showing off your body on TikTok? So I changed my whole life around, did a full transfer. I signed a contract, and it got to the point where I couldn't handle it anymore. I was living in a hotel because I couldn't deal with it. My parents were helping me. They wouldn't even think they were helping me pay for a hotel because I couldn't afford rent. I couldn't find an apartment because down there it's still like COVID.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to get into an apartment. I had to take a pay decrease. So I wasn't making what I was making up here. And I went in there. I let them know what was going on, that I needed to get out. I needed to transfer back. They said, we can't offer you that. So you have to resign.
Oh,
so I had to literally resign from my job. This is where my mom, if anybody knows Deb, was flipping out because, the job that I have is a great job.
Yeah.
And I fought for it. Good. I called the station that I work at, and I explained the situation. And I said, I tried to resign. I had no family out there. I had to come back. I had nowhere to go. And they contacted HR, and they fought for me, and they opened me back. Good. Full arms with my pay. With the
How long ago was this?
I think it's 2 years.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is something just recent. Do you think that, because I know you said that you met her on TikTok, right?
Yep.
You met her on TikTok, and then did the mental abuse start before or after you moved?
It was right when I moved.
So she knew you were away from your family, away from your friends, you're down there. A lot of the times with abusers or people that mentally abuse people, they get you secluded, and they get you to where you can't leave, And so it was and I always say mental abuse, I think I would take the physical over the mental any day. The
Yeah.
mental kind of lingers with you, and it's everlasting whenever you're laying in your room by yourself in silence, and all you hear is the repeating words of the mental abuse, because you don't know if it's real, if they truly meant it, if they didn't, if they were just trying to hurt you. And then you start self-doubting. You start doubting yourself because this person, they love you. This person's supposed to love you and protect you, make you feel good about yourself, are saying these awful things. How did you ever start kind of healing through being a domestic violence survivor? Because that's what it is. Mental abuse is domestic violence.
Yes. The thing is, I did a lot of my healing the last couple months of the relationship. I was with her for 7 months. So during the last 3 months, I was already preparing myself
Yeah.
to leave. I knew I had to get out of there. It wasn't working.
You're mentally gone. You just weren't physically gone yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the funny part is I came home on vacation, visiting my family. We basically broke up. And I told my mom I was going back. And all she said was, your heart needs to accept what your head already knows.
Yep.
And she said, you know how parents, they got to be, it's tough love, but at the same time, she knew that if I didn't go, I was going to sit there and wonder what if. Sure enough, went back. Within a week, I was fully moved back.
Yeah. I think we hold this idea of, we see the potential of who they can be and refuse to see who they choose to be.
Right.
You know, so it's like we hold on to those gaslighting moments, those very few and far between love bombing moments, and we hold on to that person because we think that person's in there, and we refuse to see who they truly are. So you went back, and you came back a week later, and now you're back in New Jersey. You are working through, you've lost your weight, you're finding yourself, you're getting your confidence back, your head and your heart starting to match. And
I ended up having to go on another medical leave because of my medication. Mm-hmm. I was doing another decrease, but I had to be watched.
Yeah.
The medication that they were doing a decrease on, I had to be, because the side effects were seizures. Mm-hmm. So I was out for about 6 months. And during those 6 months, I met Cheryl.
You met the Sherelle.
I met the Sherelle.
And you guys met each other on TikTok.
I ended up scrolling into one of her lives. And she was getting ready to go out. And I remember it to this day. She had this black shirt on, like this, with these white capri. White,
oh my gosh! It was that dude. It was she was going to like a little. I think I know what live you're talking about, because she came on live after, came back after she went out, right? And she was on live at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know.
I fell in love with the stripper.
She went to the strip club.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I was in her live. I was gonna meet up with her, but she never followed me back, so I couldn't message her.
Oh man!
You scooped me up.
I did not. I would never. But then I remember TikTok. She was running the ranks, and TikTok was having this glitch where no comments were showing up, and people were in her box. Sure enough, I jumped in there and I commented, and it was
Holly. It was the first comment that came through. The only comment that showed was hers.
And she was like, Holly was like, box. And I got in the box, and we were all talking. There was like a 4-way, there was like 4 people in there.
Yeah, it was Tori, Holly, me, you.
Steph got in there.
Yeah.
So we were all in the boxes, and we ended up messaging, and then she skipped the whole Snapchat. She gave me her number. We were texting till like 6 o'clock in the morning. She asked me what I was doing. Was it Memorial Day or Labor Day? Memorial Day. And I said, I have no plans. And she was like, do you want to come over? And I spent the day with her. The whole night we stood up till like 6 o'clock in the morning talking, just laying there in the bed, just laying there, just talking. And it was just it was comfortable.
I love how your face lights up talking about Cheryl.
My fiance.
That's the sweetest thing ever.
But
so it was hard because I knew
She came across my For You page years ago, making a video trying to catch somebody's attention. And I was liking her videos at the time. I followed her, and I knew she was in a relationship, so I didn't, do anything. When I knew she was single, what was it when I didn't know the situation. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, I don't know what's going on. I just want to be respectful. And
we were single, but we didn't announce it yet. So I told her privately that I was single.
You want to sit down?
No, I'm checking the food.
Oh, okay.
So you knew Cheryl was in a very public relationship.
Yeah.
And was that something that was like a new experience for you?
No, because like I've been in that position, so it's like I was able to listen, and be like, you just deserve so much better than that. And it's not even just that person, like her past.
Yeah.
And I'm the total opposite, because even like the slightest like disagreement with something, I'm so quiet.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, okay. Like I just blank. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't argue with my partners. I can't. Yeah. I'm quiet. Like she's been around my family. I'm like, we're totally day and night. Like I'm just a very quiet person. I listen, and we just talk and listen. It's all about communication.
So for you, knowing the type of relationship that they had, that there was obviously domestic violence in that sense, and you being a survivor of domestic violence, and knowing that this person is lying, they're showing one side of, they're showing this fake side of who they are, and the real them, and you're falling in love with Cheryl, and you're seeing how do you maintain your composure to not, because back then no one really spoke on it, and I know you definitely didn't speak on it.
Oh, I did. I lashed out.
On
live, it was once.
Yeah, I know the one time you did.
I wanted to protect her because I've seen her be a mother. I've seen her, how she acts. Like, I'm like, there's no way. It did not add up. I'm like, she's lying. She's a liar.
Yeah.
So I'll never believe that she did anything wrong.
Right.
I don't see it. It just don't add up. Where her stories just, I'm like blanked out.
Well, like they a lot of private shit that I have.
Right. I've seen a lot of things, and it's just like when she talks about it, she's never messed up. You know, when somebody lies about something, it changes. She has never. And that's why I know what she has said, what she has done. I know my fiance is not lying.
Right.
And I know it's on the other parties.
Right. But that has to be pretty frustrating for you. Now we know your backstory and the things that you've overcome in your life. And, me and you started becoming very close because that's our anniversary too. Seeing this other party, the fake accounts, the troll accounts, the comments about your appearance, your looks, about just, we all know the nasty things that were said. How were you able to not fall back into old brows?
So this does fall into the category of the gastric sleeve, because the side effects or things that can happen is you can either have issues with your teeth, because teeth are bones, and you aren't able to intake the amount of protein and vitamins that a regular sized stomach can, because you have smaller amounts of food. so your bones start to become weaker. You can thin and lose hair. I very little have had that. My biggest is my teeth. I have lost all, except for Beyonce. She's still hanging back here. I've lost all of my teeth on the bottom, and I've learned to accept that, because at the end of the day, I did get rid of one insecurity, which was my weight, and gained another insecurity. But this is something I have no control over it. It's something that happens.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can talk about me, but at the end of the day, I'm happy. I'm secure. I'm growing as a person. There's things that I've accomplished that I couldn't in 29 years of my life. I have a car that's in my name that I have. I have a house. I have a beautiful fiance, and I have 2 kids. And I have accomplished all of that in less than a year.
Right.
So I'm not going to let somebody's opinion, or because I have missing teeth, define who I am and my beauty, and define my beauty, because I know that I'm beautiful, and I know that I'm good looking, and there's more to looks. Yeah. So you can think what you want.
I'm so proud of you, because I know just hearing your story and now hearing that, I'm so proud of you, dude.
Yeah, and even like there's, friends, my best friend even says, she's like, I've never seen you succeed in the way you are since you met Cheryl.
Yeah.
My parents are the same way. My dad is like, he's like, you have gotten your head on right. It's going to be a year that I haven't gone out for a medical leave from work. I've been going to work. I hustle. I mean, it's not just me anymore. I have a soon-to-be wife. I have 2 kids. I have a house. And those are things, not only does she need me, the kids need me too. Yeah. So I can't fall down. Do I have my days? Yes. But I have to think it's not just me anymore. I have a family, and they need me, and I got to stick around.
And so,
isn't it crazy how one person can just come in and make you feel things that you haven't felt in years?
Absolutely.
It's beautiful.
And is.
And is.
Say you have 2 kids one more time, I'm sobbing.
I do have 2 kids, and I have to fight for their attention, because they're older. I came into their life at a later stage, and I usually am like, love me, love me, love me. I allowed them to come to me on their own. Yeah. And and that's about it.
So we all know Cheryl has 2 kids, and then you're coming into this relationship. It was pretty fast, like how the relationship went. It was literally, they met, they hung out one time. Rouse was invited to GIW, and then she was lesbian napped.
Yep.
For 4 months.
Yep.
And they've literally been together ever since. And the amount of, God, I met Cheryl at the end of the really icky person. And I met Browse, at our anniversary is coming up. And and to see the growth, and to see Cheryl get the life back in her, and to her smile back, and to see Browse coming in and bringing back love and happiness, not only to Cheryl, but to Dee and Shay Shay, has been so beautiful to watch. And did. They really did. So talking about, your gastric sleeve, I know we talked about it has the effects on teeth. Has there been any other effects that you know about, or that you've had with getting the sleeve, for anybody thinking about getting it? What are some of the pros and cons that you personally had? Now, again, she's not a doctor. She's just a chick that got a sleeve done. So this is our own personal opinion. Please talk to your doctor about what works best for you.
Right. If you're thinking about it, definitely think of the long run, because these are things that you cannot control. You can take vitamins, you can take proteins, protein shakes, whatever, all of that. But you have to understand a lot of protein comes from food, and your stomach is yay big. So within that amount, it doesn't matter. There was no way around this. So if this is something that you are very 100, like as D says, 100%, you want this and you want to lose the weight, these are things that you have to accept. That there's a chance that you're gonna lose hair. There's a chance that your teeth are gonna become weak and they're gonna fracture and you're gonna have to get them pulled. I would definitely look into the bigger picture years down the road, because it's great when you see all this weight coming off, and then you're like, shit, my teeth are hurting a year later, and it's like, oh, both of those are fractured, gotta pull them. And now I am, gummy bear. So
with Beyonce,
I've learned to embrace it. I got Beyonce back here. She's still hanging on for dear life.
It's not surgery is not a quick fix. It is literally a lifestyle change, and it changes the rest of your life. It only, what's the one thing? It works if you work it. It applies to a lot of things in life.
Oh yeah.
And getting that surgery is one thing. It's definitely, you got to apply yourself.
You got to be prepared.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to be mentally, and excuse me, but even before having gastric sleeve, you can go for the consultation. You have to pass a psych eval. So I was already seeing a psychiatrist, and she was like, this would be the best thing for you. And it honestly was. I lost a lot of weight, but I did lose one insecurity and gained another. But I'm learning to embrace it. This is something that can be fixed, but it's also not covered with insurance. So where you can get gastric sleeve and that be covered with insurance, when it comes to teeth, this is cosmetic. This is not covered. So this is all money out of pocket.
Right. Do you ever face any of the issues of your mind not matching the mirror?
For the first 5 months, I dealt with the body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Yes. I would see that I'm losing, I wouldn't see that I was losing the weight. You'd be like, oh my God, you lost a lot of weight. And I would still look in the mirror, and still see that 230-pound woman staring back at me. So I dealt with that a lot. And of course, the beginning of my weight loss journey, I was in a relationship where I wasn't fully able to celebrate and enjoy losing the weight. It was always like, you got to throw that in my face that you're losing weight. So I couldn't really enjoy that.
Right. Eating is absolutely mental. It comes with, yes. Sorry. Was there anybody have any questions? I'm looking, how tall are you, Brow? She tries to say that she's 5'6", but she's really 5'5", maybe 5'4".
Not, she wasn't even sure.
I am not 5'4".
Okay, ma'am. I don't know what it is with mass lesbians that want to lie about their height, but
5'5" and 3/4.
Okay, now Britt, that is not true.
5'2.5".
So, so you come from someone just asked, if you're comfortable talking about it, you come from an Italian household and two moms, not two moms, a mom, a dad, 3 kids, the all-American Italian family life. What was your coming out?
So at the time I was 17, I was working at Kmart, and my mom, I became friends with the manager that I was hooking up with that was a woman. And I came home with a fleece all the way up to the neck because she decided to give me a hickey and I wanted to hide it. And my mom said, it's hot, and pulled it down and saw the hickey and put 2 and 2 together. She was like, you're with your manager the other day. And I said, yeah. And she was like, your manager's a woman. She flipped out. She called my grandma. She decided that she was going to out me at Sunday dinner with my whole family.
Oh my God, I think,
and
I can see your mom being like, I have to tell you, my daughter,
she's got a girlfriend.
She's a lesbian. I swear to God.
No, she didn't say that. She didn't say that. All she said was girlfriend at the table. My grandma's looking at her. She goes, G's got a girlfriend? And my mom's like, no. And she's like, Anthony's got a girlfriend? And she's like, no, Alyssa. And my grandma, like, she took the fork and was like, literally, I swear to God.
We knew that Alyssa was different.
She knew that I was different at the age of 2.
Like I said,
she
don't
knew.
talk about my Debbie Do like that.
But my grandma flipped out. She was like, what about the bridal dolls? I bought you this, the Alyssa doll. You're supposed to get married. So it got real quiet. And I remember this like it was yesterday. My grandmother said, so who's the man in the relationship? Now I was 17. I said, well, me. And she goes, so you do all the licking. That's what Grandma Rosie said to me. That is what Grandma Rosie said to me. But I will tell you this. My uncle passing away was probably not the worst, but the best thing, because that day my grandmother found out that he passed away. When we went there to tell her, my grandma pulled me into the bathroom and said that God doesn't make bad people, and God loves you, and I love you, and I accept you for who you are. And from there, I mean, it was rough. It was rough. And my mom, it took her some time. My dad, it took him some time, because I'm their only girl.
Right.
Now they know, and they love Cheryl sometimes. My dad be picking on her sometimes. But,
I love your mom. Someone just asked me to do my Italian accent again. I love that. Oh my God, Alyssa, you're never going to believe what I just heard.
Listen, my mom almost got me fired because she used to pull up to Kmart. I said, Mom, she's like, you're 17. She's 20 something. I said, Mom, I'm going to be 18 in a month. I said, you think putting something, like, I'm not going to still be with her? But I'll tell you this. I did everything by the book for my mom. I kept my hair until I graduated high school. I went to senior prom in a dress, let her do my makeup, my hair, and I went with a man. A boy, varsity baseball player. And even when I was in a relationship with a woman, I did everything I could. So my mom had memories of me with my long curly hair. She has all memories of me being very girly, and I gave that to her. And after I graduated high school, I decided I wanted to cut my hair. I was done with it. I wanted to be more comfortable in my body. And this is who I am.
You're also a people pleaser from what I can hear.
And is.
Yeah.
I do miss her beautiful long hair. It should be in the closet in a plastic bag. Remember, I saved it.
You saved your hair?
Yeah. Oh, and I will tell you this. When I was getting my hair cut, my mom knew the barbershop because my brothers and my dad went there. She showed up to the barbershop and told the barber to stop cutting my hair. So I had a ponytail and I had to go to another town to get the rest of my haircut. He stopped. I swear to God, he stopped cutting my hair.
There's something about Italian mothers. Listen, you don't want to get on an Italian mother's bad side. And you don't want to get on an Italian mother's bad side. I love Deb. I love Deb. I love Mama Browse. Mama Browse is amazing. Papa Browse is amazing. They're truly great people. And so they've been very accepting of Sherelle and the kids. And
those are her grandbabies.
Yes.
Those are her grandbabies. And is.
And Papa.
Can we hear about the proposal? Oh, Lord.
I got the call that I was returning back to work, and I knew that I called Stephanie and I said that, do you think it's too soon? Little did I know she called not even an hour prior asking to propose to me. And then I was like, do I tell my parents? So I called my mom and I told her about me proposing. And an hour later, she called asking permission to propose. My mom was like, I didn't know what was going on. So
the amount. So I got a phone call and it was like, Danielle, can you come to New Jersey this weekend? I'm like, what? And this is when I was in the process of moving, so I missed the proposal. But I'm on the phone. I know that Sherelle is proposing to Browse. So I'm keeping that secret. So I'm on the phone with Brittany. They're on their way to Pennsylvania. Browse is in the car, and they start openly talking about the proposal. And I'm literally sitting here like, I'm confusion because nobody has filled me in. So I'm like, yeah, cool, okay. And so, and I kept him, and then Brittany immediately messaged me. She goes, I forgot Browses. I'm like, geez. So they're both secretly planning on proposing to each other. And neither one of them know that the other one is doing it. The only people that knew was Brittany, Steph, me, who else? Mom and Dad.
Yep.
Her parents.
My parents knew, but only about me.
Oh.
Yeah.
T and
Yes.
My friend Jenny did not know
About
that
me.
I was being proposed to as well.
Right.
And she was setting up my proposal signs, not knowing
The
Alyssa
kids-
was also going to.
So I didn't tell the kids because I didn't know if they would tell her.
Yeah.
I already asked them if it was okay.
I didn't want it to be where it was, you know. So I kind of
Slip up.
kept it. Yeah, I kind of kept it a secret.
But they knew that I was proposing. They kept it a secret.
And they had to hide a whole human because Steph had to stay in hiding until the day of the proposal.
I walked right past her. Didn't even know she was there. So
How did you know that Sherelle was the one?
I honestly knew Sherelle was the one. GIW.
Aww.
GIW, because I've never been able to trust somebody, and we weren't even completely dating. And I've always been the type like questioning what they were doing, and I knew she was coming back to me. I knew that I can trust her because she was texting me more than I was texting her while I was at the Airbnb. So I trusted her with my gut, with my heart, and I knew that she was it for me. And then she kidnapped me, lesbian me, and we spent every single day together for months. I remember I had to go home for one day, and I just felt I felt incomplete.
Yeah.
I really felt like my other half was missing, and I knew that she was the one. You shacked up for a long time.
Yeah, the GIW is what, the first or second week of June. And so they hung out Memorial Weekend, which is my birthday weekend, so it's the last weekend of May. And then they went to GIW. It was either the first or second week of June. And then spent every single, listen, Browse was going to stick around because Browse not only did a car ride there, but a car ride back with B. Lynn and Sherelle. A road trip from New Jersey to Florida, from Florida to New Jersey, and still chose to stick around for everything.
And I got assaulted with a cheeseburger. That's when I knew me and B. Lynn's hate ship has started.
And well, you had your fangirl moment, and then it was
because when she came into my life when I had like literally 1K followers, and I was following Britt when she had 1,000 followers. So I fangirled a little bit, and then I got in the car with her and knew that when she went from complete rock to sad sloppy music to Disney to this, I was like, okay, now I see where the issues are. And I just sat back and just the whole time, and then we got to GIW. I realized she was extra strong.
Weird, freaky strong.
Right. Then she threw a cheeseburger at me, and it just went all downhill from there. And I took a picture of her license plate and asked her for a driver's license, and did. That's my mom.
So, a little bit of a messy question. How do you deal with the drama that's going on right now? Because we know yesterday there was a huge live where Cheryl spoke out and, wasn't silenced anymore and spoke out about what she went through on and off this app. She is a survivor of domestic violence. No matter how you want to put it, the videos, it's clear as day. And she's speaking out on a public platform about an ex, and she has you by her side. How do you deal with all that? Because that has to be a lot to take on.
So constantly the past couple of months getting screen recordings of how she talks about Cheryl.
Yeah.
Seeing a screen recording of her going like this, that Cheryl has put her hands on her kids. Meanwhile, I've been around this. I've never, even like when, they're hyperactive, never have I seen her even try,
Right.
Never. So for that to be said, we get it. You have all these people on social media now coming to you because it's been aired out that you were abusive to Cheryl. So you're going to speak out with lies, and not only out of your mouth, but having your current girlfriend doing that, that's not okay. First of all, you want to bash somebody, bash them as a person. Don't bring kids into it. And I was the one that told her to go live. I did. I said, enough is enough. Stop defending her. Stop trying to just, clearly you not speaking up is not doing anything. She's thinking she can get away with this, and enough is enough.
Silence only protects the abuser.
Right. Cheryl has not ever, and I was with her when she asked her kids, and they were like, no, mommy, never. She barely even raises her voice to them.
Right.
Like it.
I mean, I'm from New York, so I get loud.
Well, yeah, but it's
yes, but
yeah.
I will say people that women and men, parents that have gone through domestic violence themselves. The last thing that we want to provide our children with is a home of chaos, of yelling, of feeling small or belittled or not being able to have feelings. That is one thing that definitely changed me with my son, is that I make sure I'm going to let him feel his feelings. I'm not going to belittle him. I'm not going to berate him. And I try not to yell, because I know what it feels like to live in a home and not feel safe.
Right.
And so coming from Cheryl's background, the things that she has been through, I'm pretty confident. I would bet $750 that she is the same way. But I will say, if Cheryl hasn't told you, that having someone by your side when you're speaking out means more to survivors than you'll probably ever know. Just being by her side, and I see you little rubs on her back every now and then when she's speaking from her heart. You know what I mean? It means a lot, because a lot of people don't have a Browse by their side when they're surviving. We don't. So thank you for that. Thank you for being there for my friend in the way that you are.
And the thing is, too, I'm not sitting here defending because she's my fiance. You know what I mean? That's one thing. It's one thing to lie, or it's one thing to bash somebody, but why are kids being dragged? Why are
because they know that's the way to hurt her.
Yeah.
That's a way to hurt her. They know you want to hurt a mother, you talk about children. You bring children up. And I've said so many times before, and Browse has now seen it firsthand, that surviving when you leave a domestic violence relationship, it's not over when you walk out the door. I wish it was. I wish once you walked out that door that it was over. surviving continues, because now this abuser is still going to try to control the way that people view them and view you. They are going to attack you on personal levels. They're going to still try to treat you as if you're this big. They don't like that feeling that they're losing control. So they do everything they can to try to turn everyone against the victim. And so you fight for your life. And Cheryl has fought publicly on here. She's tried it silent. She's shown you with her actions and not her words. The whole time having people body shame her, having people talk about her age, have people talk about her sexuality, have people talk about the most intimate details of her life, her children. And she's handled it with so much grace. And now she's finally speaking out and putting the abuser in their place. So for anybody, whether you believe Cheryl or not, do not victim shame. Keep your comments to yourself and your opinions to yourself. Let Cheryl speak her truth, and let that person, the other person,
and also don't believe everything, like, as far as the other side. For her partner to make a video, you are literally believing what she's telling you without any type of proof.
Right. Well,
so
she's
you're getting
supply
on the internet and bashing somebody's mother skills. Mothering. You should. I'm not gonna get on here because I'm not gonna talk shit on somebody else's mothering. But don't throw
sweep your own porch before, and Tish says this all the time. Sweep your own porch before you worry about someone else's.
Right. Right.
Don't throw stones in a glass house.
Right. But for you, because this is your sweet tea, Brows, and I know that you and Cheryl are one person. For you, not only has Cheryl been attacked in that way, Brows has been attacked in that way as well. I've seen the comments, I've seen the accusations, I've seen the belittling, and that person, the new person in Lolo's life, Deanna, that's the new supply.
Right.
That is her new supply. She right now is believing this facade of who Lolo is presenting herself to be. This fun, caring, whatever she wants to do. So by you speaking your truth, you're crashing her little dream.
Right.
I wanted to interject before, but I was starving, so I had to eat.
Thank you, Tink.
Alyssa, when I was showing, I was on FaceTime. I don't know who else was on it. I know Nicole Blair was on it. I was talking to Nicole Blair about the breakup, and Alyssa was with me at my house, and I brought out the police reports. And bringing those out and reading them again, and it just brought me right back to that moment, and it triggered me so bad. I did not know what was happening, and I have anxiety, but I've never had anxiety attacks. Like, I've had anxiety attacks, let me rephrase. I've never had a panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
I went in full-blown panic attack, couldn't breathe, heart racing, palms sweating. I literally had sweat coming from my head, like crying, like uncontrollably. And I got off the phone. I was like, Nicole, I gotta go. I get off the phone with Nicole and whoever else was on it. I believe somebody else was on it as well. And she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm just sobbing. And she just held me quietly. And I literally sobbed in her chest, soaked her shirt. Could have been an hour is what it felt like. And she was co-breathing with me. So she was taking in deep breaths. So this way I'd breathe with her and start to calm down without her saying anything. Not like her being like, okay, breathe.
Oh, this was also during when Dad was sick.
Oh yeah, my father was in the hospital. Yeah. And she was like co-breathing with me. And then she put on like soothing sounds that she has on her phone that helps her fall asleep, of a campfire and rain, because she knows I like thunderstorms. So we had thunderstorms and a campfire going, and that was probably about an hour's worth of her just soothing my anxiety. My anxiety has always been something that I've never really knew what it was, and I never really pinpointed it until later on in my life. I kind of just dealt with it, kind of just pushed through. And then more recently, I've been ignored for it, or it's been brushed under the rug. Like, oh, you're fine. Like, nothing's going on. You're fine. What's wrong? You're fine. Like, just relax. And I would have to then self cope. I'd have to cope by myself through all these things that I was going through the past 3 years. And that was the first time that somebody validated what I was feeling in probably the worst panic attack I've ever had. I had my father in the hospital. I'm reliving a traumatic experience. I have the new person that I'm dating. We weren't even, we were just girlfriends. Like,
Yeah.
I have my new person watching me break down over police reports of my ex.
Yeah.
And I'm panicking at the same time, like, oh my God, she's gonna think I still like have something for her. And I calmed down and I reassured her that it had nothing to do with the person. It had to do with the experience that I went
Right.
through. And holding those in my hand is what triggered me. But it pushed her to be exactly what I realized I need. And that was the moment that I realized I was going to propose to her. Like, in that moment, I said, I'm marrying this woman. Like, this is it. Like, there's nobody else in the world that would be able to do what she did with such ease without me pushing her back or being like, nah, I'm good. Like, let me just give me a minute. Like, I literally collapsed in her and just let her do it.
My you know, just to touch on what you said before, when you survive certain things in your life, it kind of changes the way you think. And as much as you want to fix it, I think it's always going to be you learn how to live with those scars in a sense, right? You heal as best as you can. And I did that the same thing the other day where I was talking about a time in my life, and I stopped and I was like, are you okay with me talking about this stuff? Because I doubted it. And you know, to get that reassurance is pretty dope.
That was like the first night when we talked about. We literally just.
We never talked about anything. We spoke about our pasts and stuff, and like they were like little trickles of conversation. But like we both went in deep after I calmed down and talked about everything on both sides, and it's never been such a calm feeling where you feel like you don't have to sugarcoat or pink cloud anything that you went through with somebody.
You
Like,
can be
there was
truly
always-
yourself with somebody.
And like obviously like I've been straight shamed a lot, and that is something that I've never had to do. Like obviously our conversations don't ever go to like inappropriate places like my other conversations used to go, which I feel like was kind of like baiting me. But either way, I've never felt like I had to hide anything. I never felt like I had to skirt around something and kind of like, no, it was just like, this is what it is. This is what happened. This is like, that was it. Like, It is what it is. And if you don't like it, I know you're going to be okay because you've been listening to me for about 4.5 hours now. And I haven't shut up.
It's so dope when you find that person, you know, the light after the storm, you know, when you've been at your lowest point and was treated so awful, and someone comes in and just shows you how you should be treated. And it's so like, you know, in your mind, you're like, wait a minute. Whoa. Like, you know what I mean? You still have those old habits where you're like, oh, I shouldn't say that. Or, you know, and like, they're just so accepting. And, you know, to hear Alyssa be able to be that person for you, even after everything that she's been through, is so beautiful. And, you know, I know that you pour into her cup as much as she pours into yours. So it's a great balance. Alyssa, you said you've been a year with work. I know we talked a little bit about self-harm and, you know, the attempts. Are you still, do you feel like you have fought that demon and got it out of your life? Or how is that with your, I don't know how to word it. I don't want to word it and trigger anybody.
That demon is definitely gone.
Good.
I don't think about it. If I, you know, have anxiety, or, you know, I start feeling some type of way, I right away make an appointment with my therapist and I just talk and say what's on my mind. And I would just say me moving, us getting our own house, and just, I don't know. I've just been so good with everything. I don't think about it. Do I think about my past and where it's gotten me to where I am today, yeah. And I thank God things went the way that it did, because
Right.
I wouldn't be who I am today.
The universe is crazy. You feel like you're at such a low point in your life because everything is taken from you and you're at a low point, and then you realize, dang, it was taking what no longer served me out of my life. It was making room for what I truly needed. And I feel like that's what's happened for you, you know? The universe has taken away everything that needed to be taken away to make room for Cheryl and the kids.
Take
And
away her work shorts and bathing suit because they're a little tight.
And
so for anybody, Browse, what would you say your advice is for anybody that, I'm going to ask you a couple advices. Your advice for anybody that is struggling with their mental health in a sense of anxiety and, you know, the doctor's appointments, because it seems like you've had a roller coaster with those. What is your advice for anybody currently going through that?
so, when it comes to medication, definitely get a second opinion. Don't right away say, okay, well, they prescribed me this. I'm going to just take it. I would definitely get a second opinion. And also, if you are struggling with mental health and anxiety and depression, I would definitely reach out to somebody.
Right.
Just talking. At times where I'm having anxiety and I feel like, maybe my medication is off, just one long conversation with whether a friend or even a therapist.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with therapy. There
No.
really isn't. So sometimes it's good to just talk to somebody who
Right.
doesn't know your family, and just vent. Literally let it all out.
Yes, there is links for mental health in Beelin's bio. And as I said before, you can text home to 741-741, and it gets you in contact with a crisis counselor. It is a free service. That is one of the ones I always push out there. I always push that, you know. But definitely advocate for yourself. You know, these doctors are human, and definitely advocate for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with, if you don't connect with one doctor, you feel like a doctor is not hearing you, there's nothing wrong with going to a different doctor. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't think just because one doctor told you something that's it, it's set in stone. It's not. Advocate for yourself and find the best doctor for you in your situation.
Question doctors too. If you know, okay, I've done enough research, or I know that my friend takes this because of X, Y, and Z, and they're prescribing me this, ask them, what are the adverse effects? What could happen if I'm on this for too long? Is this going to be a forever medication? If you're just taking what they're giving you because you're like, oh, I've been seeing this doctor since I was 12, like, I trust them, but something's not feeling right, or you started taking that medication and you're not feeling right, go back to them. Do not hide aspects of your life or what you're feeling or what your body's going through because you don't want to throw a red flag, right? You don't want something else to happen. It happens a lot, and it happens with my mom. My mom gets prescribed things she should not be taking. She doesn't have a functioning liver, and she's constantly getting drugs that she should not be taking from her doctors. Say something. And when you don't say something and you get down this rabbit hole of being on these medications that are so high to the point where Alyssa can't stay up and not take her medication at a certain time, she starts to seize. Like, I watched it happen. I've literally seen her start to shake, and I'm like, did you take your meds yet? She's like, yeah, I just wanted to take it. It was just getting too late. That's scary.
Yeah, there was a lot of back at the height of Reddit, when Reddit first hit the scene, there was a lot of conversations about, well, why isn't Browse back at work? Why is Browse on medical leave? And I'm glad that you're doing your sweet tea and telling it, because I know you advocated for yourself a lot, but it was also, those are intimate details of your life that you shouldn't have to share with anybody, based on, troll comments or anything like that. But medications do have side effects, and your mental health is, you got to find something that works for you, because what might work for this person might not work for you. Always advocate for yourself. Ask questions. When they try to when a doctor tries to run out that room, you still have questions, stop them. You are not taking up their time because, baby, they are getting paid to be there.
Right. And during that whole thing with Reddit talking about me, oh well, you know, she's on a medical leave, she's doing this, she's on TikTok. The thing is, she can vouch for me. 3 days out of the week, whoa, no, it was 4 days.
Yep.
The first like 3 weeks, I was doing 4 days from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. of therapy, doing classes.
Mhm.
And I was doing what I was supposed to. I was still in touch with my job. I was making, going to a doctor to get a clearance to go back to work. So it wasn't like you guys caught me going live for what, a month or two? I was out for a whole 5-6 months dealing with the whole side effects
Yeah.
of
Decreasing.
decreasing this medication.
And I have to say, I'm very proud of her, because what are you on now?
I'm on probably the lowest dosage of medication I've ever been in my entire life.
That's amazing.
So
That's amazing. I'm proud of you. What is your advice for anybody that may be self-harming, or for somebody that is maybe has a loved one that's self-harming and they don't know what to do?
if you are self-harming, the thing is, I've always learned this, and it's the same thing with addiction. I can't sit there and tell you to stop. I can't help you unless you want the help. You need to reach out. Know that there's another way. Talking, writing, singing, just scrolling, playing. There's so many games on your phones that help with your brain, like focusing on something else. But at the end of the day, you need to reach out for help, because feeling the pain, it's not going to help you. I mean, I have a sleeve now, but you know, what does that do? It doesn't do anything. Um, I don't know. I'm sorry you're hurting, and you want to hurt as well. But definitely reach out for help. Definitely.
What about somebody that maybe a parent or a friend that sees that the person they love is self-harming? What advice can you give to that person?
I would kind of get them alone, not in front of like family, and sit and be like, I've noticed. Talk to me. Not where you're talking down to them or in front of other people. Sit with them, eye level, and let them know they're not alone, and ask them how they're feeling, what they're going through, why they're doing it. Let them talk, and get them the help that they need.
I think we focus so much on, as a person, just being human, we want to fix things, right? We want to fix things, and sometimes people that struggle with mental health, or they're sad, or they're going through something, they don't, at that moment, they don't want to be fixed. They just don't want to be alone. So sometimes something as simple as sitting on the couch and watching a movie with them, or laying there together while on FaceTime and just scrolling TikTok, just having that other person. You don't have to fix everything. Just be there and be ready to help when they are ready for it. But I will say, if you see someone getting out of control, you see something, say something, for sure. If you see it's getting out of control and that person is not wanting to get help, I know you're going to feel guilty and you're going to feel bad, and you don't want to betray that trust. But their life is worth it. Their life is worth betraying that trust. And at any moment, an inch can make a difference in self-harming. And they may not mean to go as far as they do one day. So definitely, try to persuade them to get the help. And if they refuse and they continue on, reach out to somebody that can help them. Last question for advice, because we went over a lot with yours. Being being with someone that is a domestic violence survivor, and the children as well in the home, because I will say this, and this is probably going to not shock a lot of people, but even though your kids don't physically see it, even though your kids aren't physically touched, if they are in the home when domestic violence is happening, they are also victims of domestic violence. The children are victims of domestic violence as well. You may not think that they know anything. You may think that you're protecting them away from it, but kids hear things. Kids feel things. They pick up on energy, and they are victims as well. So coming into a home with children and Sherelle, knowing what they've been through, how do you make sure to let all three of them know that they're safe with you?
So even from the beginning, when I first came in, I allowed them to come to me. I mean, I would say hello, but I allowed them to create that bond and that trust with me. When they were ready, yes, a lot of patience. And also interacting with them. Let them know that they're wanted to be around. Let them know that it's not just their mother that you want the attention with. It's with them as well. And it's still like that. I mean,
like they're welcome in our space, except for my room now because I have doors. But they're welcomed in the space now. It's not. They're not a burden. Right. They're told what they need to do for their day, and they do it, and then they want to spend time. Shay just wants to be around us,
right,
at all times, and we allow it to the most
part.
Yeah, she's a lot, but like within reason, And Alyssa did really, really well. I mean, when she first came back, we weren't able to go back home to bring her back home. Not only was she lesbian out because I didn't want her to go, but we were all positive for COVID except for Alyssa. So when she was going to go back home, she couldn't because now she has to quarantine with me because she's been exposed to me, Ave. And then
convenient.
Yeah.
And then her father got COVID. Her brother got COVID in the house. So it's like, then that extended her stay. So when she was first introduced to my kids, it was, oh, this is my friend Alyssa. We just came back from Florida, but mommy's sick. And now Alyssa has to quarantine with us. Just stay in the other room. We'll make sure that you're taken care of. Slowly but surely, it was like, hey, mommy, can I get some Cheerios? And Alyssa would be right there. And she's like, yeah, buddy, I'll get it for you. Or mom, can I have some juice? And Alyssa would be like, yeah, sure, I'll pour it for you. Like, I'll help you make hot chocolate. I'll make you popcorn. Like, those little things of just offering to do something was the first thing my kids picked up on.
Yeah.
Her just picking up around the house was the second thing my kids picked up on. I've never had that in my home.
She was like, Alyssa clean?
Yeah. She saw her doing dishes and she comes upstairs. She's like, she's washing all of them. And I'm like, I know, baby. Mommy cooks.
Making breakfast.
So it's just like you said, patience. And they saw it themselves. They now see the difference. They see the difference in mom. Shay says it probably once a month. Diego, he's so aloof, but I know he knows, like he's in his own little world. He's just loving his Roblox and his life. Like,
yeah, that's Kai.
So, you give them time. And as a mother accepting somebody else into your kid's life, don't be scared to let them be in your kid's life. You can only shield them so much. And obviously we were in one home. So it was hard to kind of keep everybody separated, which I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to slowly, this is my friend. And then when she asked me out, I asked them, like, how would you feel if Alyssa and I were girlfriends? And then when I asked about, the engagement, I asked them. I had them involved in every step. They know everything. I don't lie to them. I don't tell them all details, but I don't lie to them. So just be honest.
And also, I mean, every relationship you have little disagreements, and I'll never forget we had this one little disagreement, and what did I do? I said, wait till they're sleeping. I waited till they were sleeping, and we talked about it, and I was still quiet because I don't ever want them to hear what we talk about.
What was it about?
I don't remember. I don't remember, but it was something, and I was just like, shh, shh. I was like, are they sleeping? Because I don't want them to ever, because I saw that video of Shay Shay being woken up to that and hearing her in the background. And that's something I never want those kids to go through again, ever. They
that
should
was heartbreaking to hear.
Adult talk is adult talk, and they should never, ever hear me down talking their mother, which
God
I
forbid,
never,
no.
we never down talk each other.
Well, I told her to shut the fuck up once.
Oh yeah, through text message. And I literally said to her, I said, don't ever say that. That's ugly. And I said, I'm done talking now. That was it. But these are things. And when I came home that day, nothing. Like, we didn't talk about it until they were sleeping. And that's just how I want to keep it. I don't want them to overhear what we're talking about. I don't want them to ever worry about that.
Yeah, we discuss things when the kids are, that's how.
Sorry, we got Kit Kat in here now.
That's how we were when me and their father were together. We fought a lot, but my children had no idea, and they will continue to not have any idea. Like, I tell them, people get into arguments. I tell them when they get into arguments with their friends, you've got to let them know that arguments happen and that they're okay. But it's the meat and potatoes of what the arguments are about. Oh, yes. Bless it.
There's healthy arguments, healthy disagreements. I'm sorry. Every time I move
off her cherries.
I move his paws and they come right back. So, sorry, I'm gonna have to make merch with the cats on because I feel like every sweet tea the cats have made like an appearance on here. It's become a thing now. Sweet tea with Danny and the cats.
Alyssa's dad is like that, right? Oh yeah.
Oh,
Kaz keeps everything until the kids are asleep.
And don't.
My son goes, Grandpa Kaz has he's two people. He's either really funny and calm, or he's yelling his head off. He's Italian. He's just got that loud, boisterous voice where as soon as something's, like, I drop something, what was that?
Yeah. Sweet with the cat lady, God, yes.
You try to shield them. You try to introduce them slowly. Don't force anything on your children. And I'm saying that as a mom. And Alyssa has said it as a partner now, coming into a house with it. And my kids feel safe. They love it here. They feel safe walking into our space, even when we tell them they're not allowed. So they feel safe.
Someone did ask, what would you have done if it was different, if the kids were like, nah?
I probably would have done it anyway, but kept it from them until they were okay with it, because I feel like they might just have needed time, because there's nothing about her. And I asked Diego, you like Alyssa? And he goes, yeah. I said, okay, what do you like about her? Well, she gets me snacks, and that was pretty much it. And then I asked Shay Shay, and she goes, well, she's nice, and she's funny, and she knows how to do her hair, and she knows how to dress, and she made me hot chocolate, and like she goes on her list. And I'm like, okay. And to both of them, how would you feel if Mommy and Alyssa were girlfriends? And my son just looked at me and goes, do I have to move? And I said, no, baby, there's no moving right now. Like, that's not a conversation. I just want to know, what do you think about me and Alyssa being girlfriends? And he's like, I guess that's fine. She's okay. I'm like, all right. Shay, she's like, yes. Yes.
No, do what Diego said when we were getting.
Oh, so when I asked him if I could propose to her, he goes, no. And I was like, why no? Why? You don't like Alyssa? No, I like Alyssa. She's fine. Like, I like her. She's nice. But I don't want any more babies, Mom.
Oh.
Like, I don't want any more babies. I don't want to be a big brother. They're going to play with my toys.
He thought that we were both pregnant. So he was like,
he goes, you're going to have the baby. She's going to have the baby. It's two babies in the house. I don't want it. And I'm like, nobody's pregnant, Diego. Nobody is pregnant. Okay, we're fine.
You automatically think it's a shotgun wedding.
Yeah. I said, because that's how I got married to his father. So I was pregnant when I got
Oh.
married. So I was like, nobody's pregnant. If we decide to have a baby, it will be a long discussion beforehand, and it doesn't just happen.
Oh my God, could you imagine a pregnant Browse?
And can.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, I would be the best spouse to a pregnant Browse.
Well, so yes, it will be uploaded, sweet tea. So the other question on here, there was two questions. How old are the kids? And Browse, is there both of you, have you talked about with each other openly what your triggers are and how to avoid them?
We never even really like.
I think we just recognize them in each other with certain things. Like Alyssa knows that my like thing is being rushed. I don't like being rushed. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
like being spoken to like immediately after a fight. Or like after a disagreement, I need time to process. She gives me my space to process. Things like that are just they cause me anxiety. Like if I have to immediately talk about something, I'm not gonna be able to tell you anything.
I learned that the hard way because she told me to shut the fuck up. So
I said, would you just shut the fuck up already? I can't talk about this right now. She's like,
And
that was ugly.
Shay and D they're under 10, right?
They're 9 and 10.
9 and 10.
They're 1 year, 1 day, 1 month apart.
Nope, leave me alone after a fight. No, I want attention.
No, like
She be like, it's. I'll tell you, because I'll be walking in from work after and that text message, and I just walk
right past me.
You're not even gonna kiss me.
I'm like, you're not even gonna kiss me hello? Like, it's like, don't go to bed angry and don't not do the regular thing.
Oh, I go right to bed.
Oh, she goes right to sleep. She'll turn right over like ain't nothing happened. And I'm like, I know this bitch did.
I am very, I'll tell you I want you to leave me alone, but don't leave me alone. Like give me the option to ignore you. Does that make sense? That's very toxic.
Yeah.
I'm working on that. That's
But
very
also,
toxic.
Alyssa's are anything that I get worked up about works her up times 10. So if I'm upset about something, she has now made my anthill into a mountain.
Yeah.
And it's now the end of the world. The apocalypse is coming. Meanwhile, I was just stressed out about like one little thing, babes. Like, why are you going to the extreme?
Right.
Like, relax. You know? But you don't say that to anybody, but I do. I'm like, just relax. Give me a minute. Let me explain everything.
Calm down. The kids are excited about Browse. They're excited for the wedding. They talk about it. They're very excited. They love them some Browse.
What's another one you triggered? Yelling. Yelling, and I don't yell at her. Like, if I get upset, I'm upset, so I'm getting loud because I'm from New York. I just get loud. But, like, yelling at her is a huge, huge trigger. Like, will literally shut her down. She's zombie mode. She's not listening to a word you're saying. And she's zoned the fuck out. Like, immediate yelling.
Any babies in the future?
I'm going to try tonight.
Girl. Girl.
You just be telling everybody.
But yeah, that's because all I did was yell at her. Mom.
It's hard.
It's
You know,
not. It's not like you like anybody saying, "Well, you yelled at me. You yelled at me." When you grow up in a house like that, and like I said, like with my brother with his addiction, and you all the fighting, it's a big trigger. And when you have anxiety and depression, and you kind of have like these sensory, like the littlest thing, like even like honestly, recently, like bangs or
Oh yeah.
like sudden. It's weird.
And my
because it
son
just started.
walks on his heels, like he's trying to, walk his way down to China every step.
He
So-
making sure everybody hears him walking.
Oh, he wants you to know he's coming.
Yeah.
But she will literally be like, what was that? And I'm like, he's in
Yeah.
his room. Like, I don't react to those things because I'm so used to like him just being heavy footed.
Oh, look who it is!
Oh, we got our Kiani now.
Yeah.
It's a parkour!
Raymond's walking around. He's been walked into the wall about 3 times.
Oh no!
Yeah, well, he's looking at me, but I know he's not looking at me. Did we talk about Alyssa closing the doors loudly, or
Alyssa closing the doors loudly?
I don't know. That's what Brittany Lynn said.
Listen, Beelin.
Oh, when she closes this front door to the cigarette hallway, you just pull it closed. You can turn the knob.
You want to talk about me shutting the doors? They be slamming their doors.
Listen, they are children with doors that are too tight for the door frame.
Oh, but
At
listen.
5 a.m.
Yep, 5 a.m. She does. She gets up between 5 and 6 a.m. for a cigarette. She makes her first cup of coffee. She goes out there. She smokes. She comes back. She lays in bed.
Oh,
And I go, what is skins?
Yeah, and I'm like, you smell like cigarettes.
And I kiss and I rub on her. I go, oh, the skins. And she'll be so warm. And I'm like, oh, I take the warmth.
Yeah, because she'll be cold from sitting out in the hall. But yeah, I think that it's just if you're in any type of relationship, either recognizing those triggers and not
Get over it, Beelin.
or trying to avoid doing them. And if you do them, recognize it in yourself so that this way you can apologize for it, because now you've caused an even bigger argument.
I think that really defines a person. If someone notices your triggers, they notice them to make sure not to do them, or at least acknowledge. And then there's the people that notice your triggers and use them to get reactive abuse out of you. And that makes a difference of previous partners you've been with, Sherelle and Browse. Is that one person is trying to fix a heart and that they did not break, and the other one was looking for ways to break it even more. And that's Raymond.
When she literally, I'll be like, all right, so let's go do something at like 11 a.m. She'll literally get up at 9 a.m., pop up, get dressed, be pacing around the house like she's ready to go. And I'm like, I said we were leaving at 11. It's 10:30 and I'm still laying in bed because I'm going to throw my hair up in a bun, put on a bra, and then I'm going to go. But she's been pacing since 9:30.
My ick would have to be that she will talk. She don't breathe when she talks.
No.
She will run on a sentence and just talk. Blah, 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 blah.
Hi.
You don't respond, so I feel like I have to over.
Come on. Okay, now I got all of them in here.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, balloon knot
Oh, that's Balloon Knot.
It's the Rico Beans.
with the beans.
He knows that Beelin's in here.
He has to. He had to. He's well, he just came in here to say hi. Now he's leaving again.
And I squeezed.
She pinches.
Blue not heard my name, came running.
Oh, the skins. And she takes
All right,
everything.
guys. Was there anything else that you wanted to add in, Sherelle or Browse?
I think that if you guys have questions about the gastric sleeve, you should ask your doctor. Asking Alyssa what she thinks as far as your body and your health, she can't answer. She can only know what she went through. Everybody is different. Same thing with mental health and medicine. What she takes may not be something that works for you or will work for you. Because I see a lot of those questions in her live, and she can only attest to what she has gone through, and she repeats that over and over again. So please just ask professional help. And if you want to add, this is your sweet tea, but it's just what I noticed.
If you are struggling with mental health, anxiety, depression, my messages are always open. You can always reach out to me. My Snapchat, I give it out. You're not alone, and I'm always up to talk.
All right. Well, guys, I appreciate everyone coming on to Sweet Tea. It was another great one. Thank you, Browse and Sherelle, for being here and talking about all the stuff and things. For anybody that just comes in last minute, it will be on YouTube. It usually takes about a day for it to get onto YouTube. And it'll be posted there. There will be a link in my bio. If you can't get to the link in my bio, it is Sweet Tea with Danny on YouTube.
And yes.
And is. I love you guys.
Love you, Danny.
Hey.
Bring me
hey.
a higher love.
I can't play the song anymore. Because YouTube won't let me post it now. With the video. Yeah. So we'll just have to sing it in spirit.
Bring me a higher love.
You know what's funny is that Kai will run around singing that song now.
Aww.
It's like,
Yeah.
I love that.
He'll be like, your love, over and over.
Want me to come sing? Absolutely not, Beelan.
All right, everybody. I am going to wrap it up for the night.
This is how we exit, guys.
Hand horts.
You know, love y'all.
You gonna eat me? Eat
I'm
me.
gonna need to. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Again, Sweet Tea will be on YouTube. Sweet Tea with Danny. I was just told that the merch is now going to be up. Here is one of them. This is one of the merch pictures. I'm so excited. Look how cute it is. It is so cute. I love it. I love it. We got one that's going to be in burgundy, and I also have one for domestic violence. I will post those later. There will be a link in my bio for them. Everybody, thank you so much, everyone that subscribed. I appreciate y'all. For everybody that's wanting to show support and love, you can always subscribe here. I do have the Cash App in my bio as well, which is Danielle Renee 000. Also, you can just show your love and support by sharing the videos, liking them, duetting them, getting the word out there. But I appreciate every single one of y'all, and I hope y'all have a great night. Bye, guys.